Hey fellow mountain bikers, thanks for tuning in today. I wanted to focus on some mobility and stretches with you guys. We haven't done any of that in any of our videos, but if you didn't know, when I'm not mountain biking, I'm spending time as a physiotherapist and a Pilates instructor. So I figured I'd share some of my knowledge with you guys on just things we can do to help prevent injuries. So today our focus is on hip mobility and stretches. All of these stretches are going to help with your power generation and be able to mountain bike a lot better. So here we go. We're going to go through a few different stretches, both static and dynamic. So we're going to start off in a lunge position, back knee on the ground. The front knee is right above the ankle. I'm going to focus on stretching that back hip flexor. In this position, try to just tuck your tailbone under and you'll immediately feel a greater hip stretch. Add a little bit more by lifting that hand up on that side. Start to lean over to one side. Try to really use your breath. Breathe into where you're stretching. If you have any injuries or areas you want me to cover or focus on, just comment down below and I'll try to cover it in our next video. We'll see you on the trails and keep crusading!